When I was in my second year of college, I started working at Trust Print Shop, which was a screen printing shop. A bunch of my friends already worked there.
What Jesse and I are able to do together because of his skill set of making like the most amazing copywriting to go along with the design work to really just have this whole universe that it lives in.
But I think an issue with AI generated design is that that's what it is that it's design fed by design instead of design fed by life experiences and your child and your friend and your like coworker and like
yeah, he's absolutely the reason why I'm a creative person at all.
What's up, y'all? How's it going? What do you guys? How's your day today?
It's been wild. I feel like the last few weeks have been all maybe equally wild, but every time we're just like, oh, next week will be better. We'll get our heads on straight next week. And this week is just like not. It still ain't that week. But yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, busy with work, busy with life. Feels like there hasn't been just like one normal 5 straight days of work for the whole like months. So maybe this is just what it is now.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what's always wild, I find, is just like because you guys own a studio, but because we still do things unconventionally, things just take a turn some weeks, or like it's just never really the same when you come in to do things. Like I just went on vacation 2 weeks ago and I'm like, dang, I still feel like I'm working off that vacation. Like it's like trying to get back into things, and it feels impossible.
Yeah, I think when you wear all the hats, it's like, oh, nobody did my work for me while I was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, having to catch up while also being in the moment and then pursuing the new things. It's just like sometimes it's like, oh my God, what have we signed up for?
Yep. And we tend to stack up projects a little more than we should, and then as soon as one of them gets delayed by a week, then it's like, okay, now every deadline is hitting on the same day.
Yep.
And so we had whatever perfect plan we had of how this one was going to end, and then this one would start, and then this one would go to this phase. It all just meets in the middle every time.
Yeah. What's the point of a timeline?
Yeah, right. I just always feel like it's like a mushy middle. Like the middle gets so either someone doesn't get you the feedback in the time that you need, or like I've had a couple where the client just is like, I'm like, okay, well this is the timeline. I give it to them ahead of time. Then we get going in it, and in the middle they're like, oh well, I'm on vacation for 3 weeks, and I'm like, you knew that when you had the timeline originally.
Yeah, doesn't share it beforehand, and it's like, hey, I want to start a project right now. I want to start it, and I'm like, okay, you got it, let's do it. I'm ready, and they're like, no, I'm gone.
We did have a project that had a rush fee because it was a rush, but then it ended up taking about 6 months to actually finish.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Do
at that point, I'm
rushes
just
even
like,
exist?
yeah, I was just like, wait, we still did the right thing, right? Where like it was still rushed, and we did that thing, but then they delayed it. Yeah. Nothing is ever according to one's timeline, but it's still fun.
Nope, we still do it. We love it. We still do it. So I'm so happy to have you all on. Like you all have been people that I've been a lot of people's podcasts first. Just gonna say it. So I'm excited to have you on. I don't know if you know who Jack Harrison is.
Oh my
he's
gosh,
a motion
Mr.
guy.
Jackio.
Yeah, I was his first like real podcast. So I like to break talent in the world. So,
Yeah.
so
You
I'm
found
excited
us.
to have you all.
Yeah.
I did. I was searching far and wide, like A&Rs used to do for music. Now they don't do that anymore. But so I'm excited to have you all on. Something that I love about you all, of course, is your work, but also is the spirit that you carry in doing the work. I feel like sometimes a lot of people in this space are very, I don't know how to say it, but like pompous about the work that they do and how they do it and how they treat their clients. But you all really come off in a very like sweet, like caring, like we'll take care of that for you kind of manner. And it's what I love about like all the design studios that I love are really have that way about them. And I feel like that's what's so needed in a service-based type industry is that type of human touch. So that's something I really love about you all. I don't know if it's ever been like recorded, but how did Trust start? Where did you all start from?
Yeah, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
We
Take it away,
so
Jesse.
when I was in my second year of college, I started working at Trust Print Shop, which was a screen printing shop. A bunch of my friends already worked there. And then I started folding shirts, packing boxes with shirts, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually moved into the art department, started working on customer art, making screens, that kind of thing. And then as much as I could, started stealing creative tasks or making them up or like anything that needed to be done or that wasn't being done or any fun creative thing I could find, I started doing. And then eventually after I was there about I think 5 years or so, then we brought Hannah on to take over the art department for me. And then I moved into full time on the creative side and building the website, working on the company software, that kind of stuff. And then Hannah sort of ran the art department after I moved on. And then it was probably a couple years after that, Hannah, I think, that the owner said, "Hey, do you guys want to take a crack at rebranding the print shop together?"
It was like my second year there.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because like at that time I was still in like, oh my God, I work at Trust Print Shop. I had spent years beforehand like dreaming to work there. I worked in other print shops and I hated them. But I was like, Trust Print Shop is like the print shop to work at. Like they care about things. And I mean, I was correct in my romanticization. But yeah, I just like, we got there and I was like, oh my God, I work at Trust Print Shop. And then the owner was like, you guys want to rebrand us? And I was like, thankful for the opportunity. But I was like, we don't need to rebrand. I love the brand. Why would we ever change the brand?
It was cool because
yeah.
Even though she was working on just like making screens and like making mock-ups and stuff, we saw enough of the talent that she had that whenever Matt was like, hey, maybe we should rebrand, I was like, okay, but we need to bring Hannah onto the project to help because she can do a lot of stuff that I can't do. And basically that just, it went really well and I was right. She could do all the stuff that I couldn't do. And then a little while after that, we sort of just, that was sort of in the back of our minds. And then when we started to get a few requests from customers of like, hey, can you also do a logo for me as well as help me with my shirts? And then we started seeing a need, and I think both of us had a bit of an itch to get back to designing full time and doing branding, which is what we loved. And so in 2021 we fully split off from the print shop, started our own thing with the help of the owner of the print shop. And yeah, we've been doing this since then, slowly building and learning and figuring it out as we go. Both of our first time being involved in running a business at all or handling anything that comes along with that, managing our own time and clients and budgets and everything. It's all new. And we're getting slowly better at it every day, I guess.
Yeah, and we're coming up on 4 years. I don't remember if it's next month or the month after that. It's all a blur. But we're about to be 4, which is wild.
Great.
I couldn't imagine doing anything other than this.
Yeah.
I love that. I think something that very much sticks out in the work that you all do is that print shop background. Like, I know I've told Hannah multiple times, oh yeah, I guess I should disclose that Hannah and I are like buds, and we talk all the time.
We do.
Jesse's newer, but I love Jesse too. So
that's okay.
Our relationship is newer. It's budding.
Yeah.
So something that I've always like talked to Hannah about is the fact that like I can tell that you all come from a print shop background just in the way that you all create mock-ups, like the way that you all create case studies. Like you can see the way that like you all have to create something that someone can tangibly see what you are making before you make it.
Yeah,
and I think that is oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we spent so long dealing with like the physicality of like, okay, we're getting this flat Illustrator file. How is this going to look on fabric? How is it going to look on like, we have 3 different shirts with 3 different colors, like, and so I think we just have that in the back of our heads of like the physicality of these things.
Yeah, I think like building up
the
the expectation for ourselves, for one. Like, I think in a print shop background, it's like there's so many factors that go into screen printing, and you don't know what it's like going to do, and so there's a lot of testing involved. And I think that's another thing that I really admired about Trust Print Shop, is just like, oh, okay, this is a teachable moment, like, let's learn from this thing and like record it, and then expect that result next time. And yeah, I think for our own expectation doing that, but also like, I mean, you know this, Cameron, when you show somebody a design, when you show clients design work, some of them get it, some of them can't imagine what that's going to look like out in the world, and so therefore they can't then approve it. And I think that's like such a big like useful thing to be able to make your own mock-ups and figure out how to put this in the customer's world before it's actually a tangible item. To kind of help smooth the process. Literally
yesterday we were searching Google Images for pictures of shelves of chips in its store aisles to make the perfect, to show the perfect mock-up in the perfect situation.
Yeah.
Love that.
But I also think, like you were saying earlier, I think the way that we talk about our work and like and deal with clients and stuff, I think a lot of it also comes from starting as in-house, especially me. Like, Hannah worked at agencies and had a couple other, and did freelance and some other stuff before, but I was in design school, started working at the print shop, and then as soon as school was over, just went full time to the print shop. And so like my whole perspective on the job is like working for a company that I'm like invested in, with people that I know, and like the work that I'm doing is the work that's like for my company. And so I think that for both of us, that filters into how we think about things and how we deal with people and how much we care about the work and about the client's success.
Yeah, and I think that's like a huge like anytime somebody asks me like, oh, okay, like I need to, make sure my portfolio is up to par, and I need to like make sure I'm showing off work correctly, and I'm like, okay, well, are you also talking about the work? Because that's like the thing that makes it sing, like the reasoning, like why you made a decision to do this. Talk about that. It's so exciting. I was talking to a friend of ours from the Hoodspit chat, Jose, and yeah, he brought me his work, and he was just like, what do you think? And I was like, it's amazing. Why don't you have a portfolio? And he was just like, oh yeah, I should have a portfolio, and I'm like, what about this little piece of it? Like, how did you decide that? And he had this amazing story that he was just like keeping in a closet somewhere else. And I was like, no, talk about that. Put it on the internet. And so yeah, I think that is just like such a big aspect of like us showing off our work, but also like Jesse was saying, we want to invest enough story and feeling into like how we came up upon decisions, but also like why it matters to our client, like why we kind of invested the research into getting to know them and their industry, and why all of it makes sense. I think that's just like, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, 100% agree. And that goes straight into the other piece that I see in a lot of, I've heard you talk about your process. Like, you all just gave a talk at Creative Works about punching above your weight, and part of it was how you all are strategic in the front end with storytelling and writing. And I have fallen in love with brands that really take the opportunity to write on that beginning end and build out that world in words first instead of jumping straight to visuals. For some reason, I don't know, there has to be something in creative or human communication where words can add more depth than maybe pictures can off bat. Yeah. But I love that I've heard you all talk about that being a part of the process where words are so important to kick off. And I know, Jesse, that is a part that you play. I'd love for you to talk about like how you all started making that decision to put that forward and like the value that you feel you've gotten from that.
Yeah, I think it's personally, it's just the thing that excites me the most. Like the most excited I am in the project is at the beginning when it's like, what could this be? What does it mean? Why is it this way? And I think we try a similar, the same idea of being an in-house team for our clients is like, okay, well then we have to go through like employee orientation and like we have to get there. They don't have like a brand handbook, so we have to make one that like teaches us how to work for the brand, that kind of stuff. And obviously we can't do like this whole thing every time, but that's like the idea that we're following of like getting embedded in the brand and the industry, like their terminology, the way they talk about things, the way they sell their products. And I think all that like makes the design flow so much better, because we're just like we're speaking like we used to talk about screen printing when we were like spending every day thinking and talking about it. And I think it comes out.
I love that. Anything, Hannah, from your...
Sorry, Matt just got here and Tuck was barking, so I was muted. And I was just like, yeah.
I was like, wait, where's
even though
go?
I'm on another planet.
I'll continue that. I think that it's a natural thing that flowed out of the way that the two of us work, and how like Hannah can just jump straight into Illustrator and just start drawing, and it looks great. But it's like, okay, how can we make this even better? How can I become more involved in like that early branding process? And once we started doing it, we started seeing the results, and then it just built in there. And now it's something that we like sell the client on, spend like just as much time on as we do on the design part.
Yeah. And I think like I freelanced before we started a studio, and like I did like good looking work, but it didn't like soar. It was just kind of there, just kind of quietly there, and it's just like, oh yeah, that looks nice. But what Jesse and I are able to do together because of his skill set of making like the most amazing copywriting to go along with the design work to really just have this whole universe that it lives in, is the best. And I'll talk again about like whenever I was admiring Trust Print Shop, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this place is amazing. I would like get their newsletter, I would like attend events and all these things. And eventually, I think it wasn't until like after we had started the studio and Jesse started writing things, and I knew that he was the one behind like writing the newsletters, but I was like, oh my god, I got the thing that I loved about Trust Print Shop. Like I somehow obtained that. Awesome. And I was just like, and like Jesse was saying, it's just like when he was pulling ideas for like doing creative tasks at the print shop, nobody was asking us to do like new box designs. Nobody was kind of coming up with these things. It was like us to come up with the idea, pitch it, and make it.
That was me trying to find an excuse to design something and write something for a couple hours instead of working on mock-ups.
And I was eating it up. I was getting the newsletter, and I was like, I can't wait to work at this place. I hope I get to work there. And then fast forward to starting our studio, and I'm just like reading something that Jesse wrote, and I'm like, wait a minute. I got the thing. I got the zest that was Trust Print Shop. So thanks, TP. But yeah, I think it's such a cool way that we kind of organically have like found our unique pathways in our studio, because our skill sets don't overlap very much. Sure. But we both have our own lanes of really cool stuff that we're both passionate about.
I love that. And I think that is a lot of people are always like, well, how do I get to the perfect job or the perfect situation? And it's like there takes some bravery and initiative up front. Like you really do have to go for the things that your brain is calibrated for. Like if Jesse went and tried to do the things you do, Hannah, it wouldn't work. Or if you wouldn't try to do the things he does, it doesn't work in that way. So it just, a lot of times you have to, yes, there is imposter syndrome. Yes, there is that voice in your head. But you got to go for the things that you feel drawn to and create and make them reality. Yeah. And I think that's, again, you all are a testament to that. And you can tell how passionate you all both are in the realms that you all work. Just, again, in the outcome, in the output, you can see that. So I love the fact that y'all's name is Trust. I feel like there's no other name that would do you all justice. Just it feels so like you all. So I'm your biggest fan. Just want to let you know.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and back to the like imposter syndrome and like selling yourself and just committing to it. I think that was something that we struggled with even up front when I was like, okay, I like this doing this stuff, but then it was like, okay, how do we actually get a client to buy this? Yeah. And then we would start these projects and they would send us research that someone else had done or something like that, and we're like, wait, how do we get someone to pay us to do this part too?
Yeah.
And then it just took the confidence of doing it for free a couple times, then starting to sell it with the proof, and then like just like taking initiative to make it part of our projects and just trusting that people will see the value and agree to it, and they have.
Yeah. I think it was also like upfront. And I think even today, like, we're always kind of adding things that maybe we didn't do in the last project to the new project, just because we're eager and we want to add, cool new stuff. We want to learn things all the time. But yeah, I just feel like the first few times that you do it, it's just kind of like, okay, we'll just add that one, because the project can't exist without it. Like, honestly, if I let this project go without adding this little thing to it, I'll never forgive myself. And yeah, so then it's just like, oh, okay, well, in a couple projects, maybe somebody will pay me to do this. And that's just like, that's what happened with strategy. That's what's happening with a bunch of other skill sets that I think we're gathering as we go on.
Yeah, you all do a lot correct. What is one of those things that you, in like a recent project, felt like you needed to add?
I always avoid calling myself an animator or a motion graphics artist. But I'm always just like, well, let me just try it a little bit. Let me just make something real quick. And then it snowballs into something else, and then I end up handing it off. I'm still at a point where, like, I don't know if we could charge for this, because I'm kind of doing it. It feels illegal because I'm not a motion graphics artist. But yeah, I think that's something that we kind of added on a little bit. What's another thing, Jesse?
I mean, we've been steadily over this year, we've gotten more web development projects than we ever have, which is something that I handle, which I learned some in college. Then at the print shop, I managed the website, but then I've just like spent this year just like learning by doing, and then each new one that comes up, there's like a new skill to learn, and it just keeps like stacking on top of each other. So that's definitely something that's growing and growing, and then we're like taking on new stuff like, hey, can this integrate into an e-commerce site? Can this integrate into this? So that's a lot. That's something that just keeps building each time that we say, hey, what if it did this? Let's figure out how to make this site do this. And then the next time we're like, hey, would you like your site to do this as well?
Yeah, and I think a big part about it too is just like not signing up for something that we're not able to do, like not saying like, yeah, we'll do that for you, but being upfront about being like, we've never done that, but let's figure it out together. Let's do that. Sure. And I think that's another aspect of like being able to get buy-in from clients on certain things that maybe we couldn't, yet charge for, or like, I don't know, just trying to get them to agree to be collaborative in this moment and find a learning, a piece to learn, and then moving forward from there, and then doing it better next time.
Earlier this week, I got someone to pay me to set up a box on this guest bed with a camera set up and lamps everywhere, and take some product photography.
Yeah, he crushed it too. He did so good. Great. Yeah,
that's so dope. I always find that like, oh, go ahead, Jesse.
No, I was just going to say, I just said, well, maybe we were like, well, we really need some photos of this for the packaging, and I was like, well, you just send it to me, and I'll see if I can get something good.
See what we can do.
I love that, and it's always. Yeah. I mean, being a freelancer or being a small studio, I think it's always best to learn, like, while you're being paid for it. It just has a different vibe to it. I think you're a little bit more gung-ho to figure it out. That doesn't mean you take on the hardest thing you've ever done, without ever doing it before. But it does mean that you might do some things that you've never tried before, and then someone pays you to kind of get that done. But
yeah, and that attitude really comes in handy being such a nimble team. Like, it's just us. And we're like, oh, we could hire out, or like we could ask the client to hire somebody else out, but how would that work? How would we collaborate? And we eventually almost always are just like, let's just do it ourselves.
For sure. That's dope. Yeah. I feel like we've talked about a lot of work, so I want to jump on to something else. What do you all do, like, outside of the work? What is your favorite thing to do after a long week's work?
This is the wrong time to ask us. I think both of us are working overtime so much right now.
I have a 2-year-old, so that's the...
You have a beautiful family. Yes.
That's the main thing is, waking him up, getting him ready, taking him over to my mom's house for the day, coming back and working, and then picking him up and keeping him company until my wife gets off work. So that's a lot of time and effort, which I love. But that's most of the outside of work time right now. But it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's great.
I feel like I've lost my way a little bit just because work has been chaotic, but I think back when I had time, things I enjoyed were, funnily enough, I had a very, I can say it now, it was toxic, but when I was working at the print shop and freelancing at night, I was just like working all hours of the day, but I was like, I love design so much that I just do it all the time, and I'm having fun. I'm not burnout. And then when we started the studio, I was like, okay, no more freelance. What do my after hours look like? What are evenings? What do I like to do? And I think I discovered that I'm not a gamer girl, but I'm a little bit of a gamer girly.
Hey.
And it's kind of Jesse's fault. I was like, Jesse, what do I do with my time? And he was like, do you have a Nintendo Switch? And I was like,
you're skipping the part where I forced you to not work every evening.
You did. I wasn't allowed to work.
Then I had to help you figure out what to do when you weren't working.
Yeah. So I had a breakdown. I had to figure out what I like to do, and I was like, what do I do, Jesse? And he was like, do you have a Switch? And I was like, yeah. What's on there? And he was like, he came to the office one day and handed me Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
And I was just like, we'll see. I don't really like video games, and I loved that game so much. I beat it. I beat the second one. I love little weirdo games. What am I playing right now? I've already forgot. Oh, I'm playing Portal 2 right now.
Okay.
I'm behind. I know everybody.
Yeah.
I know. But I love that. I love knitting. I don't know. I'm a simple gal.
Yeah, I feel like Breath of the Wild was one of. So first off, I'm not a game person either. Me and my brother had gaming systems our whole growing up, and I only wanted to play it when me and him were playing it together. We were playing with our friends. I just don't have the attention span for video games, especially a game with a story. I'd rather watch someone else play to get the story than me actually play and get the story.
Wow.
But Breath of the Wild was the first one where I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. And a Switch kind of changes it where you can kind of walk into the world and be like, oh, I'm at the airport playing a console video game, basically. So it reminded me of being 8 and getting Pokemon for the first time. Yeah. And you're just wandering around the world playing Pokemon as a kid. You had all the accessories, the extra battery and the light, and it was crazy. So I feel you. I had this thing that was a magnifying glass, so you'd lift it up and then the screen would be bigger.
Yeah.
Wild.
Why don't you just make the screen bigger, you guys? Why did you have to make an accessory? Address the problem.
Yeah, never. They're not going to do that.
I feel like I'm definitely someone who doesn't have this burning creative fire, you know, like I do, but it not necessarily the same stuff that we do for work. So I think Hannah is someone that when she gets off work, she like feels like, or like if she stopped designing for a while, she would be like itching to get back and like draw some stuff.
Sure.
And I think that it's just one outlet for me. And so I think I'm always picking up other hobbies and other things to just like find that, so it's not all coming from the same place, which I think helps us too, because I try to bring like outside influences outside of the design world as much as I can, to like help spread out our influences, you know.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think that's like Jesse's so good at research on a computer, but he's also great at research off the computer. And he's always just like bringing out. He's like, we'll be talking about a very specific thing. He's like, you know what that reminds me of? He's like this like obscure like this obscure film that nobody's ever seen. I'm just like, what are you talking about? But very thankful that he's got this like undersaturated pool of things to pull from, whereas if I'm ever stuck, I'm like, Pinterest, why are you not giving me unique things? You know.
That's crazy, because I feel like I've heard comedians talk about that before, where they're like, yeah, I wrote my hour, and then for the next 5 years I just had to live life as hard as possible so I could write my next hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's first off, such a wild thing to say. Like, are you just doing drugs to have content? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, so that's what that makes me think of, is just like how important it is to get out in the world and like experience things and run into things. Like you said, an obscure movie that no one's probably ever seen, like to throw that on and be like, dang, that has some cool, like maybe not even cool design or visuals, but just like a cool story or something that provides some type of texture to the projects that you're working on.
Yeah. I think it helps kind of unlock the next door to like get into like, okay, what if it's this? Okay, well, what if it's this but this? And then it just like,
you can tell people who don't. And you can tell people who, like, in their work, you can tell that it's like, again, kind of one note, one tone. And that, I mean, for some people that's on purpose. But for what we do, that isn't helpful in kind of building a new world for every piece or every client that you're working on or working with.
Definitely.
So.
I think you can definitely tell design that's only fueled by other design that they've seen recently, you know.
That is also true.
Yeah.
And not to open the whole can of worms right at the end of our time, but I think an issue with AI generated design is that that's what it is that it's design fed by design instead of design fed by life experiences and your child and your friend and your like coworker and like a film director and a music producer and like all of that, like the way you can connect those things into something new. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't think.
Sorry for opening that right now.
No, I think these conversations
Cameron's
need
good
to
company for this.
Yeah. Because I definitely agree with you, and that's at the end of the day. Yeah, you're right. It's feeding into itself, so there's no way for it to be original or new thoughts. And there's only so much that you can steal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's only so much that you can scrape. And everyone is not putting their best out there. Their best for most people is still in their head. So like to not even have access to that, what are you doing? Like it's so I don't know. I'm just, the AI conversation is one that is like, again, very fueled by capitalism right now. So it's kind of like the NFT conversation when it was very fueled by like capitalism and domination and just taking over. So no one is seeing clearly and no one is really thinking with that human touch. So it's I think for a couple more, maybe even a couple more years, that conversation won't come back around to what did we actually do here? Like right now, everyone's just saying it.
I think everybody gets really blinded about like being part of the thing, like being part of the group that has something to say, and the thought leaders. And yeah, I just think that everybody's hopped on this train without really thinking about where the train's going.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be like this, future focused entity, this group
Yep.
of looking towards the future. Like, why doesn't that involve humans?
Yeah.
Why?
And
Why not?
back to the like influences conversation. Like if you're making like if you're making a pickleball brand and you go on Pinterest and search pickleball design, like you're just gonna get the same copies of copies of copies. But if you can think like, okay, what are we referencing? What does that come from? Where does that start? And get back to like these deeper like outside of design ideas, and then look at those things even still on Pinterest. Like I think that's where we try, and where I try in our like research process, to like connect those like outside things that can bring sparks of new ideas that haven't been tried before.
Yeah.
Yeah, which does take, again, that is part of the job. Like that is,
Yeah.
I feel like that's so discounted in, people just think you fire up your computer and you start designing stuff. And it's like, well, the best design has been thought out, and really it's been tried, it's been tested, it's been, this didn't work, that did. And it does take time to kind of get there, and it does take funding to get there. It's like you're a little like scientist, like in a laboratory.
Yeah.
And I think there's just no shortcut to like having that like light bulb inspiration that only happens when you've like looked at a million things and talked through a million things and tried a million things. Like you can't skip straight to the answer, because the answer is just gonna be what everyone else already did before. If you don't sit with it.
Yeah, it takes like all of Jesse's loads of research, and then it takes me like 3 Illustrator files of absolute chaos, and then like a breakdown, and then I'm like, Jesse, there's nothing good. I've made trash, and he's like, that's pretty good right there. What's that?
Yeah. It always takes Hannah saying, I give up, I have nothing, and then I open the Illustrator file and say, okay, these 3 are really good. Let's chase these, and then we get to the right answer. It was already there the whole time.
It was one of the first things that I made. Yeah.
I saw a meme yesterday, and it was like, it said start of the project, and then it was like peaceful or whatever, and then middle of the project was a possum screaming, and then the end of the project.
I'm the possum.
The end of the project was just like more again peaceful again, and I'm like, yeah, that is like, it's like I feel like there's a moment of like, wait, what did I sign up for? And then you start going, you're like, I'm terrible at this, and then like it does take a Jesse to come in and be like, hey, you're good, like this is amazing actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we both have our like moments of chaos where the other one's just like, no, I think it's just like this. I definitely have more opportunities for chaos, but yeah, I think it's just like peaceful. I'm like, I love design so much, of course I'll help you with design, and then it's like chaos and terror, and I don't think I can do it, and then at the end we're just like, that wasn't too bad.
That actually turned out pretty good.
That actually turned out pretty good. And then now we'll wait months and months and months to post it online.
That is indeed the hard piece of it all.
We're sitting on so much work. It's insane.
Does the internet is it even real? Does it even matter? I don't know. I would rather write about it than like post about it now. I feel like there's something a little bit more fulfilling than like to write it. I wrote a newsletter about one of the brands that I did recently, and it was a lot more fun to do it that way than to just put it on Instagram and like in the normal consumption way that Instagram behaves. I'm just like, but on my Substack, I did this and this can last forever, but it just seems like Instagram, you just throw it into a void. It's like, hey, I made this thing, and then like not even 24 hours. It's within like 4 or 5 hours. It's like gone, and you're like, So that's just the
what was I so overwhelmed about before posting it, and then it's just gone. Yeah,
it's just gone. I forgot someone was talking about this. I think it was me. I talked to Amy Hood recently. and she was talking about the fact that like you should treat some like social media like being, I think she was talking about TikTok specifically, but the idea was treating social media more like being on FaceTime, to where it's like you being on FaceTime, you're just there. Like there's not a bunch of effort. You didn't like get up to like get snazzy to get on FaceTime. And it's like, I think that's a good level set in how you should sometimes approach this thing. I think done is better. Done and posted is better than primed and perfect. But again, we're in the work that we do, it's like hard to, when you need to explain or like really show what this could be, it's hard to kind of leave it at that. So
yeah, I think Jesse and I are both people that are just like not invested in social media. Like if we could get away with not having it at all, that'd be great. But every 6 months or so, we're just like, dang, we gotta post something so that we look alive. I don't know. So that's what phase we're in right now, where it's just kind of like, we'll post it, and then hopefully, if, I don't know, I feel like every year we hope to have enough time at the end to up our case studies and post work that we worked on all year. We'll see. But I realized that I don't even think By the Millers is on our website, Jesse.
Yeah, there's so much.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're still getting work. Yeah.
And every time we go to the website, we're just like, hey, we should redo our website.
Every time.
And then we can post our case studies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Toxic.
But year in review,
So
year in review comes first every holiday season too, though.
Put everything that we should have said the whole year into one thing.
Hey.
Whoops.
Hey. Maybe that is how it should be. Maybe that is, you're fighting against something that that doesn't work for you, and I think that's also fine. So
yeah, we tried to have monthly newsletters, and then Jesse was like, "Yeah, the bi-monthly newsletter," and I was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Yeah, the the quarterly newsletter," and I was just like, They're not happening. I don't remember when our last one was, but
the problem is we got all these websites now, and now I've got, it's not just you that has these deadlines for now I've got all these deadlines that I gotta deal with.
We both have full plates right now, which is
love that. That's awesome.
Love it, but
such a great spot. So I'm happy for you all. I feel like you all are getting the shine that you deserve and the work that you deserve. We're coming up at the end. I always ask a question at the end. That question is, what does creativity mean to you? You all can answer it separately. You can answer it as a team. You can answer it however you want to answer that question.
Woof. I can go first if you want, Jesse.
If you got, go for it.
I think I know what both of our answers are. But I think I might be a little long-winded in getting there, but bear with me.
Okay, let's go.
Because dear audience, Cameron did not send us questions before we recorded this, but I did know that this one was coming up because I'm a loyal listener of Creative Questions.
Hey, a real one.
But,
you're a real one.
Yeah, that's me. What does creativity mean to me? I've been in a kind of cycle of thoughts lately about like my childhood, like my upbringing, how I got here. And you know this, but I lost my dad in May of this year, and it's just kind of sent me back to thinking about him and how he shaped me and kind of his decisions that influenced my decisions. Kind of, thinking about, he was an artist, and thinking about what he was good at and kind of what led me to be good at what I'm doing. He's absolutely the reason why I'm a creative person at all. And he owned his own business in the sign industry for almost my whole life. And I got to watch him deal with customers, just design things, build things, create things like out of thin air, it felt like. It was very magical. And living in that world as a kid too was kind of like industrial arts and crafts. It was such a cool environment to grow up in. I think witnessing him be able to do these things and take these kinds of tasks on, like, and learn on the job, I think is something that instilled a confidence in me to be able to be excited about learning. He encouraged me so much to just do things, to just learn things. Yeah, in the creative field specifically, like, I was so interested in what he was doing and what he was learning that I was like, I want to learn that. And so I was like 6 or 7. I was very young. I was too young to be on a computer. But he taught me how to use the pen tool in creative, or not creative, in CorelDRAW. And which I don't even know if anybody knows what that program is anymore. But yeah, I've been pen tooling since the ripe age of 7. So I feel very much like my creativity is just rooted in like the excitement of learning. And fast forward to now, like we were talking about earlier, Jesse and I both find these opportunities throughout projects to, you know, find a learning moment and get excited about it. And I think that's the thing that fuels me in like pursuing the creative career. Like getting to learn and be excited and just kind of get better every time you do something. Yeah, was that coherent?
No, I totally understood.
Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's like when I try to think about like my reason for creativity, because I'm not necessarily a person that is like, oh, I gotta get the art out of me. It's in me and I need to draw right now. It's always been rooted in like getting to learn something or getting to help somebody or like doing something that's kind of outside of just doing it. I think, yeah, my pursuit of creativity is very much in the learning and the excitement of obtaining new skills and stuff. So, yeah.
Love that growth in
growth.
Yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think my definition of creativity would be pretty similar. I think that it's something that I've learned since college and like going through the process of like loving creative work, deciding, okay, maybe I want to be a designer, going to school, and then like figuring out that the normal stuff like drawing a logo isn't like my strong suit in it. And then like over the years just thinking I would just suddenly learn how or like suddenly be great at it. But then especially through starting this company and like figuring it out, finding a good partner that complements my weaknesses and has strengths that I don't have and everything, I think it's become like that it can be anything, that it can be research, it can be like creatively looking at someone else's website, like a competitor website, and telling our client, here's what I'm seeing from this website that's working and not working, and here's how I think we could approach things to relate to this in one way or the other. Like, and I think all of that is creativity, and especially like taking that and then writing things and like writing strategy and stories, and like it's like, yeah, I think just allowing myself to call that creativity and call that design, even when it's not the thing that I pictured it would be at one point, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think allowing anything to be creativity, and then like investing in it and saying like, okay, I'm gonna make this great, even though it's like a fake user profile or something silly like that for some document that only one person's ever gonna see. But yeah,
an internal document for a team of 2.
Yeah,
we put our all into it.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's so dope. I love both of y'all's answers. Great. There was, again, I feel like there's a lot to learn in that question, so that's why it's one that's kind of stuck around. Took some of the expectations away from the work that we do. So
yeah, definitely. I think there's just like so much gray area in even what we do. But compared to like any other creative field or, you know, somebody who would call themselves an artist, like there's just so much nuance in all of it. And I think the expectation of what's allowed to be creative, or what's allowed to like make you feel like you're a creative, is so broad.
Yeah, and I
For
think
sure.
being a small studio that's working with generally fairly small clients on like, I think that sort of gives us the freedom to like be creative everywhere, and not, because we're not focused on like, we're not focused as much on like the like return on an investment and like like data and like all these like shareholders and like for ourselves or for most of the clients that we deal with. It's more just like people with a dream that are coming to us to help brand it, and so I think that opens that freedom to be like, to be creative and inventive all the way from the strategy to the execution.
Yeah, you're literally invested in the creative. Like, that is the point. Like, there's no other point but to go and take that and push that as far and as hard as you can. So, I'm a big small studio advocate. I think that work that comes out of these big studios does not compare to a lot of the small studios out here, just to be honest. Again, we talk about the whole AI thing and things looking like refurbished or redone over and over again. I think that is the problem. Yes, they have more manpower or more ability, but what comes out of some of those big studios just does not match energy wise. You can feel the love. you can truly feel the love.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, like with these bigger like agencies, that maybe there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, you know, there's not that many eyes on things, surprisingly, and I think things get missed. And being a 2-person team where it's just like, oh, okay, we only have like one file that we're passing off between the two of us, or we're in Figma just like at the same time. We cover all of our bases, and it also like it helps us get it right on the first try a lot of the times, or pretty dang close. But yeah.
Dope. I don't want to hold you for too much longer. Is there anything you all want to put out there for people to go and grab?
We don't really have anything besides
we have nothing.
follow us to see some of our work every once in a while when we post it.
Love that.
The plan is, we always say, okay, next year we're gonna like really balance everything out and do everything we want to do. But the plan is to start writing more blog posts, writing more like tutorials, and more of our like thoughts on design and thoughts on how we do things. And that's hopefully something we'll get back to soon. But for now, just follow us so you can see when we have new work, I guess.
Dope. Where can they follow you, and what is the website? What is y'all's website?
At Trust Design Shop and trustdesignshop.com. That's it.
Amazing.
If you want to be pals, email howdy@trustdesignshop.com.
Yeah,
and I will get back to you at some point.
Yeah, we love meeting new people, especially designers, and making new friends and connections. So definitely feel free to reach out to just talk or ask us questions or anything.
Dope. Again, I appreciate you all coming on and sitting down and chatting with me, and I had a good time. I hope you all did too. So.
Absolutely.
Of course, Cam. Of course.
I'll catch you on the other side.
Cool.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creative Questions. Like, comment, or subscribe to allow us to keep making more episodes. I appreciate you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.